Right now, one man's protest in Abuja is making headlines around the world. A single Nigerian stood outside with a yellow sign that read, "Donald Trump, come and save us." He wasn't joking and he wasn't paid. This young man's desperation has gone viral because it captures exactly how millions of Nigerians feel, helpless, angry, and abandoned by their own government.
Donald Trump, come and save Nigeria. We are facing a lot in this country. The terrorism, the Boko Haram, they are killing our brothers and sisters. The US government, please come and save Nigeria. Don't mind whatever our leaders are saying. The terrorism, the Boko Haram, the banditry, they are killing our brothers everywhere in Nigerians. The killings is not only the Christians. They are killing both Muslims and Christians. They are killing everybody. The US government, please help Nigeria. Help us fight this banditry. Help us fight this Boko Haram. Help us fight this terrorism. They are killing everybody. Our life is not safe anymore. We, the citizens of Nigeria, we cannot sleep without having the thought of being kidnapped. And our so-called leaders, they do nothing about it. All their children school in abroad. All their family members live in abroad. So they won't care. They will send them about us. The US government, Donald Trump, come and save Nigeria ASAP. In Nigeria, we claim that we have mineral resources. We have national resources. We have oil and gas resources. We have gold. But the citizen cannot afford 1 square meal a day. This is where our bad leaders have landed us. So at this point, we need the whites. We need the American government to intervene. They need to do something about this. The terrorism, the Boko Haram, the banditry taking over our land is getting out of hand. Enough is enough. Donald Trump, the American president, come and save Nigeria.
One may ask, what's driving this level of despair? It's simple. Life in Nigeria has become unbearable. Insecurity has turned daily life into a gamble. For over 15 years, Boko Haram have terrorized the northeast, displacing over 2 million people and killing tens of thousands. In the northwest, bandits have taken over highways and villages, kidnapping school children for ransom. According to acre data, there have been nearly 2,000 civilian attacks this year alone. And that's just security. Economically, things are collapsing. Inflation hit 34.2% in June 2025, the highest in almost 3 decades, after the government removed fuel subsidies and devalued the naira. Food prices have jumped by 40%. Over 133 million Nigerians, more than half the population, now live in poverty. Youth unemployment sits at a shocking 53%. So when a young man kneels in public begging Donald Trump to intervene, it's not madness, it's desperation. It's what happens when people feel their leaders have given up on them. Now, this protest isn't just a random act. It connects directly to the growing tension between the US and Nigeria, especially after Trump's repeated warnings about what he calls the Christian genocide happening here. The US recently redesignated Nigeria as a country of particular concern for religious persecution, a move that infuriated Abuja. But experts say the violence isn't purely religious, it's systemic. Christians and Muslims alike are dying. Terrorists, bandits, and rogue militias target whoever stands in their way, while government officials keep arguing over semantics. Let's take a step back to understand why the call for American help even makes sense to some Nigerians. The US has long been involved in Nigeria's security. Since independence in 1960, the two countries have maintained close military cooperation. There's even a status of forces agreement that allows the US to train Nigerian troops. In 2017, under Trump's administration, the US sold nearly $500 million worth of A-29 Super Tucano fighter jets to Nigeria to help fight Boko Haram. More recently, in August 2025, Washington approved another $346 million in precision-guided weapons, rockets, and bombs to strengthen the Nigerian Air Force. It's one of the largest U.S. military support packages in West Africa. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Despite all that investment, the results are dismal. Boko Haram still operates. Bandits still kidnap school children. Terror groups like JNIM are now entering Nigeria from the Sahel. A new report even called decades of U.S. aid to Nigeria a disaster, claiming it has fueled human rights abuses instead of fixing the problem. That's because the root issue isn't the weapons. It's the system that handles them. Corruption, poor leadership, and lack of accountability mean no amount of funding will fix what's broken. This is why many Americans and even some US lawmakers are now questioning whether continued support makes sense. They argue that helping Nigeria fight terrorism only works if Nigeria itself wants to win that fight. Let's not forget, during Nigeria's civil war in the late 1960s, the US stayed neutral. It provided humanitarian aid but avoided military intervention. Even now, despite Trump's fiery comments, a full US military deployment in Nigeria would be complicated, legally, politically, and morally. Experts are warning against it. They say sending American troops into Nigeria could trigger anti-Western sentiment, ignite a US-China rivalry on African soil, and risk massive civilian casualties. Still, you can't ignore the symbolism of that protest. When a citizen publicly begs a foreign leader for help, it means people no longer believe in their own government. And that's a national tragedy. Online reactions show just how divided Nigerians are. Supporters flooded X with comments like, "Our deliverance will come from abroad, and we need Trump's soldiers now." One woman said, "We've been crying for years. Maybe now they'll finally hear us." Others warned that foreign troops would never understand Nigeria's complexity and could make things worse. The government, for its part, dismissed the whole thing. President Tinubu rejected the genocide label and accused foreign media of exaggeration. China publicly backed Nigeria, warning the US not to interfere. ECOWAS called for restraint. Why would a citizen risk ridicule and possible arrest just to call for help from another country? Because people are tired. They're tired of insecurity. They're tired of bad governance. They're tired of watching leaders live large while ordinary families can't afford bread. The man with the sign in Abuja may not have solved anything, but he exposed everything. He showed the world a country that's losing faith in itself. And that's the saddest part. Not that he called on Trump, but that he felt no one in Nigeria would listen.